You're good.
So welcome, everybody, to the Dufferin Township Council meeting, February 24th, 2025, 6 p.m. And the first on the agenda is I'll call the meeting to order, and then we have the land acknowledgement statement. And I'll ask Councilor Bowman to say that, please.
Augusta Township acknowledges that we live and work on ancestral territories for the Indigenous people. The township recognizes all Indigenous people and honor their past, present, and future. The township values and respects their culture, heritage, and relationship to the land.
Thank you very much, Councilor. Okay, next is the mayor's opening remarks. First of all, I'd like to welcome our new clerk, Lindsay, to the seat up here. So I said to her kind of close quarter, what she's used to, a desk in the corner, but anyway, there's advantages and disadvantages, but I'm sure it's gonna work out. So I just want to give kudos to our Public Works the last couple of weeks, especially with the snowfall. I was a little concerned when the CAO asked me to order 300 mailboxes. So
Lacking a zero.
but driving some of the county roads, I see what they're missing a lot. And it's not so much, I always thought it was kind of the plows hitting those mailboxes. It's not so much that, it's the amount of snow that's pushing back the mailbox posts and the mailbox. And we haven't had that in the last couple of years. So anyway, there's quite a few mailboxes out there on county roads and township roads. I was handed a letter from the auditors, NMP, basically to draft a letter to them with concerning our recent audit for the 2024 audit. So members of council, if you have concerns about the audit, you get back to me before the end of the week, okay? Because I want to do my letter back then. Okay, so in the last couple of weeks, I attended the new cabins. It's approximately about 25 cabins at it used to be the old Children's Aid Center, the city of Brockville building. They actually own it. And I think everybody's seen them. They've got a compound, so the public cannot walk in there. You have to be asked in there. I viewed one of the cabins and the washrooms. The washrooms are in a separate trailer, but they're quite nice. They have a shower in there, then the toilet, of course, and the cabin itself is quite comfy, considering what I've slept in the army, but I thought it was really comfy, air conditioned and heated. So there's actually 3 that have graduated already. 3 people have graduated from the cabins to go out to, I might say, the normal world, I should say, which is really good. When they come in, they're interviewed for a cabin, and they also get a assigned caseworker. So it's just not a matter of showing up, here's your building, there's a lot involved in that. Right now, we're waiting on another trailer. That trailer will accommodate the staff. Staff is in the building right now, but they're not, that building was supposed to be for addictions. So they've got to keep them separate. So they're waiting for that trailer to come in to put the staff in. So. Myself, Deputy Mayor, Councilor Pape attended Flag Day, you might say, February 15th at Hall's Apple Orchards. The mayor of Elizabethtown, Kinley was there, the mayor of Brockville, and former Senator Runciman. But it's good a couple hours, so had some cider, some old Canada, did our flag thing. So anyway, it was not well attended, but I don't think the word got out to everybody, but it was nice. And of course, walking through halls, the smell of apple pies and bread, just.
You left with some?
Yeah, I did buy, not bread, other stuff, yeah. I attended a meeting last Friday, it was called, I Feed the Teams, and it's basically, concerned citizens organizations getting around for the summer feeding programs, March break or PA days. And it consists of Connect Youth, Prescott Legion was there, representatives from King's Kitchen, the churches in Prescott, the library, and the South Grenville Food Bank and Outpost Cafe, and just a couple other citizens. Over the last 4 years, these organizations have put out about 15,000 meals to teens. And, what we came to after a 2-hour discussion is trying to get a portal website where they can share food. For example, if the South Grenville Food Bank was, so say a company gave them 10,000 granola bars, rather than them keep it, share it with another organization where they can put it in lunches, stuff like that. Or if this other organization has, 300 cans of Campbell soup, well, again, just a portal where they can share things to help the overall public. So I thought that was a good idea. And basically, communication and start talking to the kids. Now, what I didn't know, and I plead ignorance, but Outpost Cafe in Prescott, I just thought it was a cafe. But it's actually a nonprofit organization that feeds kids. And the kids come in there and get a lunch, I guess, that sort of thing. So they do kind of 300 to 400 meals a day. I didn't realize that. So I was, wow, and then I didn't know the Prescott Library served meals to the kids. So I was kind of shocked by that. So it was good to get everybody together because all the orders in the vote are going the same direction. So there's a definite need for it out there. So anyway, it was a worthwhile meeting going to. And of course, all the churches usually have meals too. Kids. That is it for my opening remarks. So next we have is the approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Bowman, second by Councillor Henry. Be it resolved the agenda for Monday, February 24th, 25 be adopted. Does anybody have any changes or any additions? I see nothing or call question, all in favor? Here. Yeah. Next, we have the approval of the minutes from February 10th, moved by Councillor Henry, seconded by Councillor Bowman. Be it resolved that council approve the minutes of the February 10th, 2025 council meeting and the February 14th, 2025 special budget council meeting as distributed to all members. Any member have any corrections or anything? Okay, see nothing to call question, all in favor? Carried. Yeah. Does any member have disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Okay, see nothing. Any business arising from the minutes? Yeah, I don't see anything. Delegations and presentations tonight. And tonight we have every kid in our community, Legion Grenville. And we have Jane Hess. Jane, welcome back, Jane.
Oh, yes, I've been here before under many different hats.
Yes.
The Leeds Grenville Leonard District Health Unit, when it was previously the health unit, doing the strategic plan, and also with the United Way for Leeds and Grenville. So I've spoken to a number of you before, and Lindsay, because of Prescott, has already heard this recently. So I'm now working out through the municipalities to talk about our Start with Hello campaign. But one of the things that I learned when I did present in Prescott, because of some of the questions the councillors there left, was, what's every kid in our community? And so I've added speaking notes, which I did forward, I think, to you, Vicki. If not, I will forward them so you can put them in, just about what every kid is. Every kid is a collective of all of the child, youth, and family serving agencies in Leeds and Grenville. I've been doing this since 2002 because at the health unit, we had all these agencies that were working for kids and youth, and were we working together? Were we double doing, those kinds of things. So if anyone remembers Keith McPhee from the Catholic District School Board or Mark Fancy, a lot of us got together at that time and said we need to work together collectively. We did it independently for a while. Now we have a little bit of funding from the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services, whatever its new iteration is as well. So basically you talked today about, I heard you talk about Connect Youth and, John Howard Society, the food bank. So any of those organizations that that are out there serving children and youth, we collectively get together once a month and then we work on projects throughout the year. And basically children is from, prenatal to 24. Anyone got a 35-year-old they're still helping guide through life? So kids, when's a kid not a kid type of thing. So we've started with the two things we do with every kid in our community is that we use a collective impact model. So collective impact, if you're familiar with that, and I think I spoke about that when I was here with United Way, because that's what we were working on there, is so that as a community you work together to increase the health of the entire population. So we use collective impact with children, youth, and families in order to help improve the collective health of children and youth in our communities. And we know that, as you said, with the food, there's lots of need out there. We're also based on the Search Institute Developmental Assets Framework. So there are 40 developmental assets they've identified through a lot of research that if kids have more assets, kids do better. And I think it makes sense to you. Kids need at least 3 adults in their life other than their parents in order to have somebody kind of affecting them. So you think about the coaches that or the people in your neighborhood or the other kids' parents type of thing. So then from that, we've built a campaign called Start with Hello. We've been doing this since prior to the pandemic, but now we're kind of reinstituting it again. And that's kind of why we're back out on the road again. So start with hello, and I have buttons. I've given a number of you buttons, and it's basically say hello and then build positive relationships. And Mayor Shaver did talk in his preamble there about talking to the kids, and that's really what we're talking about. If you could flip that screen. So basically making a difference and making those kids feel like they belong in the community. Next one. So it was adapted from the Sandy Hook Promise, and you probably remember that shooting in Sandy Hook, New Jersey, during the time of Obama. And it's basically for all influencers of youth in the community to create a community where kids feel safe, welcomed, and valued. And we use the developmental assets framework for that. We did talk to youth in, there's the developmental assets framework.
Sorry.
If you want to flip back to it, I'll just review them. They're hard to see on the slides, and there are pages of the printed slides over here as well. But the developmental assets framework basically looks at that we express care, that we challenge growth, we provide support for children and youth, we share power, which is an interesting one. Do you share power in your homes with your children? And then we expand their possibilities. If you want to flip to the next one, please. So in 2019, and again, this was prior to the pandemic, we went out and we talked to children and youth and said, what do you want to tell us about how we talk to you? So there's some quotes there from them, make conversations with us. We're going to be the ones running this world when you grown-ups pass, and a number of other things. And we did this through Connect Youth's Stingers program. So that's where we got a lot of this data from. Okay, next slide, please. So it's adapted for all influencers of our youth in our community. We want to create those positive and caring adult relationships, and we want a community where we value all children and youth. What are assets? They're from that developmental assets framework, from the Search Institute. Again, they're well evidence-based. A positive experience, skills, opportunities, and qualities that kids need to succeed. External ones: support, empowerment, boundaries and expectations, constructive use of time. Internal ones that kids have, that commitment to learning, their positive values, social competencies, and their positive identity. So more is better. So more assets kids have of those 40 developmental assets, the less likely they are to get into risky behavior. Drug use, alcohol use, early sexual activity, things with the legal system, etc. So basically we want to encourage more. With our Start Hello activities, we started in Brockville in November, prior to National Child Day. And so what I will do for the clerks is a good, and you can tell me how long I need to preamble that. But National Child Day is November 20th. And you might, as a council, want to declare that in your municipality for 2025. So I will send that reminder to you, just give me an idea of what the timeline might be. I'm out presenting to all of Leeds and Grenville municipalities. And then we do have an asset builders event in the spring. On the website for Every Kid, so it's everykid.ca, we have all sorts of things, some of which I passed out today, available for you to use if you as a municipality want to start with hello in your municipality. So there's a promotional poster that you can have printed and put in your lobby. There's social media posts that you can use on your social media. There's instructions for button making, and all the buttons that I passed out today have all been made by the clients at Developmental Services of Leeds and Grenville. So we've used a button maker from the library, and we've had those clients make all the buttons for us. So it's, very cost effective for sure. And there's other links to supporting resources there for Start with Hello. I also passed out a Breaking the Ice card. It just gives you some pointers on what you might want to say to a child or youth. Some of you are great at it. You do it all the time. You don't have any issues. But some people find it difficult to talk to, particularly maybe a teen with the black hoodie walking down the street that you come across. You might not know what you want to say to them. So those give you some ideas. So have a look at those before you speak to children and youth. Next slide. Long term, what do we want to do long term? We like to get developmental assets into every aspect of life. And we want to work with municipalities to see if you can get it into your municipal plans. What we are doing, and currently we don't have it available for dispersal yet, is a toolkit for municipalities on building developmental assets to foster resilience and mental well-being in children and youth. This was previously a product of the health unit, and now we've taken it over as Every Kid. And so it gives you ideas on how you can then use this in your municipal planning. So when you think about your municipal plan, you probably worked in built environment, you probably worked in climate change. Have you specifically worked in working with children and youth? I mean, you do a lot of things with recreation, and there's all those things that happen, but is there a really particular emphasis on working with children and youth? And this is a model and a way to have you work that into your municipal plans to show that you as a community support developmental assets for your community. And we can certainly help you work with that. We could do a presentation on developmental assets to any of your council or committees or anyone that would be interested. And if you have any questions, my contact information is there and I'm available at any time. Any questions?
Quiet bunch. I'll start off. I know they got quiet. So recently, yes, I'm saying as council, Connect You and the John Howard Society, the federal funding, they lost that this year, recently. So,
$150,000.
yeah, so, and we talk about youth, I know there's certain ages you talk about, but, one thing that went through my mind is kind of think how we can help. Maybe I'm off base here or not, but we have I think for the staff, Willow runs the summer camps and everything. Is that something we could get started there, for example?
Absolutely. You could encourage that, if you have so you hire students in the summer to do summer camps in your communities. And so Start with Hello could be part of the summer camp program, and it's basically, I think kids who are hired to do summer camps are pretty good at talking to kids and youth.
Yeah.
But how can they then get that message out to their grandmothers and their neighbors and those kinds of people? So there's a perfect opportunity to do that through your summer camp program for sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
And we could work with them. We could do a training on developmental assets with them as part of their training for camp counselors. Those kinds of things, we'll do anything like that. And there is a developmental assets subcommittee of Every Kid, which is Tanya Wallow, the school health coordinator at the health unit, and a number of other people who are really working with developmental assets in the community for sure. But those are things that we have available to offer. And again, you know, you talked about John Howard and Connect Youth and the money. I'm not here today looking for money. I'm here looking for opportunity to, you know, to help more people in the community beyond the social service sector, which is well represented at the Every Kid table. But beyond that sector, how can we get the message out and do a better job for kids and youth?
I attended the meeting there last week and it was a good meeting, don't get me wrong. Of course, I'm sitting there. And then we talked about how to, you know, how to talk to kids. You know, we should get some feedback from the kids, right? And someone said, well, start with the libraries. Yeah, so you're gonna talk to a group of kids in the library. Well, that's good, but that's only one group.
Yeah.
I said, then you got your sports group, you know, mostly men, boys, but that's all they think about all the time, sports, sports, sports. And then you have your other group, which could be gamers and everything else, you know, so there's different groups of kids.
Absolutely.
Just don't talk to one group and say, oh, we got the magic bullet or the
Yeah, and I think it's just that whole kind of, you know, like dispersing it, you know, kind of into the community and how can we be more receptive to children, youth in our community? We want them to come here, stay here, come back here if they go away to school, because you want them to work here and pay taxes here.
Yes.
You know, those are all of the things that you think about long term. And that, you know, why this Augusta is a great place for kids to come back and live and grow their families. And so there's lots of opportunity. And I think it's just to get it beyond that social service sector, that obvious sectors. You know, and in some ways, libraries and sports are obvious sectors. And then in the spring, when and I'll send that out as an email, just a reminder to your council, is when we have the Asset Builders Awards. We've had that for quite a number of years at the library. We've had very interesting ones. One year it was the McDonald's person near South Grenville, you know, and then one year there was a person from that grocery store that used to be beside St. Mary's. Kids would come in every day and the clerk would say, how's your day going? Did you do well on your exam? How are you feeling about it? You know, just those little kind of incidental things that we see as incidental that kids don't see as incidental. So we've had lots of interesting nominations. So you can nominate, children and youth can nominate, schools can nominate. We've had some great nominations for asset builders, and it talks about assets, it brings it up in the community, but it also gives people who are doing stuff a way to be you know, acknowledged.
And that's so important because some kids don't get, you know, well, have no one to talk to at all.
So
You can't talk to their parents. Parents are either working or they're too busy or friends they may not be able to talk to. So, yeah, it's.
So again, that we're trying to get it out beyond the normal.
Anybody else have any questions? I told you I'd start the ball.
Well, I know what a lot of people don't realize is the number of homeless youth and they couch surf. And I know that personally because our son did it for a while when he was in his rebellious stage. And he stayed at different places for a week or 2 weeks at a time until he outlived his welcome and moved on somewhere else.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the unfortunate thing about this money, that's, you know, like there was a lot of that money. If you look at that grant on the federal website, I mean, it serves so many places in Ontario, and I heard all of the Eastern Ontario ones were defunded, which is really a tragedy.
Gee,
Yeah, this, you know, comes at a good time. I was expecting to give a report to council next meeting, but I'll give them a little bit of a preamble. So, one of the things our fire department is hoping to do this year is have a junior firefighter program. So it's getting 6 local youths in the ages of 15, 18 that would want to train with us and work with us, not go to emergency calls, but do everything we do except for the emergency calls. So, you know, obviously giving the child, the youth, someone to look up to and that we can mentor. And also in the future, hopefully they can move into a position with us.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're really hoping. I was going to give a report at the next council meeting on the cost neutral event. Our firefighters going to volunteer their time to do this, whatever extra time. So anyway, it came at a good time.
So we could certainly come and speak to your firefighters about developmental assets and, you know, and how important it is and how to work it in. And lots of people do it. Your firefighters already do it. They just don't do it within that framework. And that framework, if we're all using it, kind of then spreads the word a little bit better, I think.
Great.
Oh, yeah, no, one other thing, well, but a lot of it, like you said, because funding is, a lot of it comes to funding. And I think there's more groups that probably could get together and do something. Our Grenville Federation, we run a food bank project and we raise money for the food banks, but we also do Connect Youth and King's Kitchen. And so we cover with Connect Youth, we cover their food part of the program. So that's been really, but one thing we didn't really even think about until recently, and that is what are the kids doing weekends and March break and other times when the school's not open.
There is the weekender program through St. Vincent de Paul. And it does serve, I believe, all schools in Leeds and Grenville. So they basically raise money and send food home for the weekends for elementary and secondary school students. So it might be a program to connect with to see, do they serve your municipality?
Mr. Kearney?
The one thing I'm just thinking of, and I know this council might have had it before, was looking at maybe bringing back the youth advisory committee where we can work on certain initiatives to help our youth in our local community. I actually just got a funding request today from Hydro One. It's called 2025 Energizing Life Community Fund, and it's for community relations. So this could be really a good fund to provide some seed money for our youth and advisory committee that we could look at doing some initiatives with our youth. So it's something we could certainly bring back to council.
Yeah.
And that fits really well in the developmental assets framework under share power. You know, because then those kids have a real say in what's going on in your municipality.
Yeah, fine, Sure, power.
No, everyone, no pun intended, but it works.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks a lot for having me back. I'll see you again someday.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is correspondence and petitions. AMO requests for support, reference to social and economic prosperity review. Moved by Councillor Bones, seconded by Councillor Henry. Whereas current provincial municipal fiscal arrangements are undermining Ontario economic prosperity and quality of life, and whereas nearly a third of municipal spending in Ontario is for services in areas of provincial responsibility, and expenditures are outpacing provincial contributions by nearly $4 billion a year. And whereas municipal revenues such as property taxes do not grow with the economy or inflation. And whereas resident population and housing growth require significant investments in municipal infrastructure, and whereas municipalities are being asked to take on complex health and social challenges like homelessness, supporting asylum seekers, and addressing the mental health and addiction crisis. And whereas inflation, rising interest rates, and provincial policy decisions are sharply constraining municipal fiscal capacity, and whereas property taxpayers, including people on fixed incomes and small businesses, can't afford to subsidize income redistribution programs for those most in need. And whereas the province can and should invest more in the prosperity of communities. And whereas municipalities and provincial government have strong history of collaboration, therefore be resolved that the province of Ontario commit to undertaking with the Association of Municipalities of Ontario a comprehensive social and economic prosperity review to promote stability and sustainability of municipal finances across Ontario. And further that a copy of this motion be sent to the Premier of Ontario, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Minister of Finance, and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. Okay. Comments? Right, Deputy Mayor.
I think it's about time that the province does this because they've been kept on continually downloading, giving us more responsibilities and been cutting our funding. So it just leaves it on local taxpayers, stuff that shouldn't be.
You remember comments? Okay, see nothing, call the question, all in favor? Here, you. Next, we have reports. And committee reports. First is council, county's council. First thing, county's council last week, we passed a tax increase of 5.11%. Secondly, the mayor's okay, this is the feasibility study for active transportation funding came up. For 15.5 kilometers between Brockville and Prescott. That study was done by WSP. And it's supported by and there's actually a fund from the Housing Infrastructure and Communities Canada Fund. Up to $50 million, our cost share would be 4.6, consist of bike lanes, paved shoulder, etc. So let me explain. For the last, I'd say 4 years, I get a call or email a month, at least one, concerning County Road 2 between Brockville and Prescott. More in the summer, because of there's no room for the people walking, the joggers, the cyclists, and there's paved shoulders in some areas. Other areas, there's paved shoulders, but it's crumbled, and no paved shoulders in other areas. So the active transportation funding stems right across southern Ontario, along the lake and the river sort of thing. So they're now at the point where basically our area should be looked at. And so it came to counties, and like I said, the price up to 50 million. Somewhere I think I read it was going to cost 24 million sort of thing to do it. But it's a fund, it's grant. So the county share would be 4.6 million. To me, that would solve everything. But anyway, so county's council did pass it, which I was relieved because I'm sure I had a number of residents watching that council meeting and wanting an answer. So anyway, it's a good start because you gotta have the funding. So it's just a matter now to see if we do get any funding, but this would be like a 2026 project, 2027 project. So I was relieved. So now at least the residents can call me to complain when they're getting the funding, but at least there's something being done. So they know we're not ignoring it. So it's well overdue, especially, and I said to county's council, we expect more tractor trailer traffic on that road. It's an EDR road, which shouldn't be. And WSP in the report said it's up to the municipality. I said that's incorrect because it's not up to the municipality where the EDR routes go to. So anyway, I gave my spiel. So it passed. That's all I was happy about. So that's what happened to the council. And I'm done there. So the rest, okay, so conservation authorities.
Okay, Seventh Nation, we had our meeting last Thursday, and they passed their new clean water program. And what's important to that for residents in Augusta, that is if you have to replace your septic system, you can get up to a $2,000 grant. But you have to call ahead of time, and up to $1,000 on have to decommission a well. There's other programs for erosion control and for different things on farms. But for the majority of the residents, those two things are the most important. But we have to get the word in because last year was the first time that program was underfunded. And when all the money isn't used, it goes back in general revenues for the conservation authority. So, and Rio Valley is going to have the same program, but our meeting is this Thursday.
Yeah, I get that info to Willow and that. We'll put it in either quarterly or on the website,
Yeah. At our banquet this Friday, both Carl and Summers going to be there. So if anybody has any questions for the Conservation Authority, they can talk to them there.
So,
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, any recreation reports, any councillors? Councillor Henry.
Your worship, we had a meeting February 12th. It was kind of going through finalizing their skate event. They were able and successful to have one that was well attended. A thank you to BD Duclos because they've donated the timer for the lights for the rink. Then the same day, it's Friday the 14th was their night event. Maynard School took a couple of classes over, which they were lent skates from the library, which Kathleen transported back and forth. And they were very happy about that and having skates for the kids that didn't necessarily have them. And I think that's it.
Just reminded me of something. When somebody donates something like that, BD Duclos, I think, and CL, we have cards made up, thank you cards for that. And they're signed by all of you, of course. So we should be sending them just to thank them for that, because they'll pin it up in their office or something like that. So that's a public know and give little thanks. So I can see, BD Duclos and other organizations that have it. So, and if you can't get it, the whole CAO, I've got some too, but,
I've got some already signed by all council, so
Yeah,
we'll
that's what I mean.
get one out tomorrow to them, just to say thank you.
yeah, they're pre-signed cards we had made up, so. No, that's great. Okay, yes, Councilor Bowman.
Merck had their last meeting February 11th. I was not in attendance, but I do have an update. So they decided that, we're not gonna do anything with Cedar Park this year. It's too late and we have to order a new liner for the rink. Soccer for, Merck is this Friday, February 28th, from 3:30 to 7:30. It's $50 from kids from 12, or the ages of 3 to 12, and it's at Stingers in Brockville. They're having their pancake supper or pancake breakfast this Saturday, March 1st. So if anybody's interested, it's from 9 to 12, $8 a person, $24 for a family of 4. The next community potluck will be April 3rd from 6 to 7:30. They're talking about doing a murder mystery, but it's still in the works, and they're looking at possibly having a bingo. They had a women's wellness, and it was very well attended with 33 ladies, and Merck is looking at getting Starlink.
No, it's good. Good. I'll be there for the pancake. I was asking last meeting, you were on Zoom there. I didn't want to miss the date.
It's this Saturday.
Dr. Mary usually goes too, so we have
What
pancakes.
time did it start?
It's from 9 to 12.
Okay, anyone else? Okay. Library board.
I have no update.
Okay, good. And the Economic Development Tourism Committee, Councillor Payne.
We're meeting next week, but just a reminder, the mayor's breakfast is quickly approaching. We are almost in March already, so make sure you register and let's fill the place up so Jeff can have a full house when he cooks breakfast.
Yeah. Okay, and Planning Committee, Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, we had our planning committee meeting and we covered a couple of severances and then we had a discussion on one that had came back to us and then it was passed.
Good. Police Services Board, no change from last meeting. We have a date set.
April, it's in, end of April, last
Yeah.
week of April.
Okay, so we'll let you know when we have that meeting. And this administration, Mr. Garrity.
Just two things for council. One, there is the South Grenville Chamber of Commerce AGM, which is scheduled for March 3rd, which is next, Monday. It's in Johnstown. If anybody is interested in going, let me know and I can get everybody
When
ready.
is that at? Remember?
I want to say it's
I
at
didn't get the
8,
invite. so-
8:30, I believe, and then I think 9 o'clock is the actual breakfast, I think it is, or something like that, but I can send out the details to council. The guest speaker will be Charlie Mignot from the St. Lawrence Corridor, who will be kind of giving an update on Eastern Ontario and especially some conversations in regards to South Grenville as a whole and the labor force and all that stuff. And then the other one I just wanted to share with council tonight and looking for some direction is we received, a donation request from the Prescott Family Health Team, as we have in the past, where we've contributed to their health and wellness event on April 9th. Their executive director has asked us, the town of Prescott and Eversburg Cardinal, for $1,000 each towards that event. I will remind council that we're also giving the Prescott Family Health Team about $7,200 a year towards their operations, but certainly want to bring this forward to council and see where council wanted to go. I have had a conversation with both CAOs, and they're bringing it towards their councils, I believe, this week as well. So if council would rather wait to see what the other ones are doing first, I can certainly bring that back at a later date, but I certainly think it's probably a unified approach if we're all gonna do it or none of us are gonna do it. So I'll look for some direction from council.
Comments?
I would like to wait and see what the other councils are doing.
Yeah. I think that's nice.
All right, we'll bring it back.
I know Prescott meets next week, I believe.
And I think Eversburg Cardinal's meeting tonight. I think they were bringing it towards tonight. So we'll have a thing for the next council meeting on kind of the approach. From a CAO's perspective, we have a pretty good idea where we're gonna go, but certainly we'll look for council's direction.
Yeah, considering we just gave them money, that's. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, staff reports. Administration and Finance, moved by Counselor Henry, seconded by Counselor Bowman. They resolved that council directs staff to renew the River Road Transit Service Partnership Agreement for the period of April 1st, 2025 to March 31st, 2026. Comments? Everybody read the report? Thompson.
I know I've had many discussions with, the CAO in regards to this, about, we're paying for a service that it's great that we're, that we have a bus and stuff like that. But I know we don't know a true sense of our ridership. And I think that this is it the ABL?
Yep.
That they're putting in, I think, maybe that will give us a better understanding of actually what our ridership is. And I know we had touched base also about, maybe it's to the point where we need to move our locations, to get better feasibility and stuff like that. Yeah, just hopefully that'll give us a good one.
Counselor Payne?
And I mean, we've also had similar conversations and I mean, I think that's going to be a critical tool in just making this decision at this time next year. One thing I would be curious about, have they done any kind of discussions or studies about looking at maybe the hours that it runs? Cause like I said, my son who, goes to school in Prescott would take the bus into Brockville if you can get home. Unfortunately, right now, the last trip gets back to Prescott at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So what's the point? You get there and have to come back right away. And it doesn't run on weekends. So you've just eliminated the youth from that. I don't know if would not, haven't been a transit user in many years, but, I wonder if that's something that's ever been up for discussion. I know that we're supposed to be having regular meetings on that. So I'm relying on you to bring that back to the others and let's see if we can get these meetings so we can get this information for next year. Cause I think if, depending what the data has next year, I mean, it's a lot of money to just throw into this unknown abyss that we have to be responsible for. So I do see value in it. Transit's an important part of every community, but we need to make sure that the residents are getting the services that they want. So, I think we need to see a little bit more input from the others. It's been a couple of years now on council where we really keep getting this report that really doesn't tell us anything.
I'll say my 2 cents, and I'll let you talk. The only thing I have is the communication. Like this report came to us and, when this was set up, it was supposed to be one representative from every council. or every township on a committee. And that person or staff, either a councilman, would basically report back on how it's doing. I don't know who looks after it. I don't know if it's the CAO of Prescott, he's the only one, I don't know. But I'd like to see us get back there where there's one representative from every township, so they can report to each council. And one time it was the public works manager, so it's up to the CAO who it is, but you can take that forward to them, I think, great.
Yep, just a follow-up. So I did have a conversation with the CAO of Eversburg Cardinal and Prescott and did provide the same comments that council is bringing forward as far as based on the agreement, there's supposed to be an oversight and operations committee.
Yeah.
In my time here, we've never met once to discuss things as hours of operation, route travel, stop locations, user fees, annual operating budget, and marketing and promotion. So I was, as I discussed it with the CEO of Prescott, he committed to me to having a meeting, our first meeting in March or April, where we can discuss these items. The other thing I will add is the AVL, you're absolutely right. Although they don't tell the location, they do tell how many times the doors open and close in each area. So at least we'll have some numbers that can provide at least some sort of guidance on where people are being picked up. And I did relay the message to the CAOs that if things continue to move forward, that although we like the partnership, that it can't be expected that we will pay the full $30,000 if our numbers are only 5 or 10%. And they were aware of that, and they were certainly saying, you know, if we need to down the road change the formula, how it's done, we certainly can do that. And then if things change, then we can always revert back. So certainly I'll look at trying to bring a council report back, hopefully every quarter, on some of the numbers and some of our meetings that we've had, so.
I know things get pushed to the wayside, we get busier and all that too, so I'm gonna ask the clerk to add it to committee reports.
Sure.
Because it'll be the same reporting period as the PSP, you know, so, but at least it's there.
Yep.
We know we'll probably get some attention is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So we'll just add River Read to that. Anyone else have any questions on that? Okay, a poll question. All in favor? Here, yes. Okay, next, moved by Councillor Bowman, second by Councillor Henry, be resolved that council supports the submission of an application through Rural Transit Solutions Fund for the purpose of a bus for the river route service with the town of Prescott and the township of Edwardsburg Cardinal. And yeah, so looking at it, our share is about $12,000, is that correct?
Yeah, so if I can just add, so as part of our agreement right now, the river route, the 3 municipalities are responsible for the replacement of the bus that we're currently using right now, which is slated basically to be end of life 2025, 2026. So this fund has come out that we're looking at applying for, which will fund the majority of the cost of the bus. And to the mayor's point, our share will be $12,000, but every year how the budget works of our contribution to River Route, any surpluses go into a reserve. So there's enough money in the reserve fund now that if we did get the funding, that there'd be no implications to any of the municipalities for our share. So the due date for this fund is March 5th, which is why we're council tonight, so that we can provide a copy of the resolution to Town of Prescott.
Any comments, councillors? No, I call the question, all in favor? Okay. It'll be next up here. Oh, okay, but has he got the, sorry, has he got the, just gonna speak to it. Thank you. All right, Next is the council compensation and expense policy review. So, Mr. Garrett, you want to speak? Maybe?
Yep, certainly. Thank you. Just grab it. So I just wanted to kind of bring this to, based on the, some of our budget discussions last meeting and looking at the council compensation expense policy. I didn't know whether council wanted to take some time and review it to make any additions or deletions to the policy. Because right now, in our current policy, the way it is, it talks about, a member may attend the AMO once during the term, which right now council is going every year. It indicates that, a per diem rate of $150 a day will be paid to council members who is away from the municipality for a period of 7.5 hours or is absent from their regular employment. It talks about, once every council term, a review of the salary, benefits, and any other matter addressed in this policy identified by council will be undertaken at least 18 months prior to a municipal election, which would put us right about where we are right now. So I didn't know if council wanted to have a deeper dive into this policy in the next upcoming council meetings and make some changes, amendments to the policy so that it's ready to go moving forward for the next term of council. And also address some of the kind of the issues I see in the policy right now with some of our decisions at council.
So you're saying just to, any changes we make to this now won't affect us, but will affect the next council?
No, it could affect council now, but it's ready for the next council term.
Well, there's a couple of things in here, but I don't know, I see what members think. Any comments, questions? Yes.
So your worship, everything the CAO mentioned were things that I picked out. Given like, say, for instance, our budget meeting, some of us have full-time jobs that are having to come because that's the time that it has to be set to accommodate everyone and missing work and unpaid with our honorarium or something.
No, agreed. You know, but nobody's ever,
Oh, I know. I didn't know.
it's like, it's like the mileage, right? For meetings?
Yep.
I don't think anybody's ever put in for it.
No.
And the farthest one away would be him, and, the rest of us all live, well, pretty close, you know, so, I mean, you know, there's give and take I see in it, but, yeah, if it's on black and white and you want your funds, you ask for them, yeah, so. But anyway, if we want more time to digest this, yeah, I totally agree with you, you know, so. Yeah,
I mean, I would think that maybe if we move it to next meeting.
Yep.
And give us a chance to kind of go through it and just kind of, there's a few things that Tammy mentioned that I kind of stumbled on going through it. Yeah, I think if we kind of put on another meeting to kind of focus on it, I think we could probably update it a little bit and make it a little better.
and things have changed since then, like good roads. None of us want to go to good roads now. That's the impression we had. You know, Amos is more better, so.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking for Public Works, they have their own conferences, but as far as council goes, it's, you know, it's a lot of it's repetitious, so if you go to Roma. But I still, you know, I would still give council two conferences to go to. And you gotta remember, when we go to these conferences, we're doing delegations. Look how many delegations we had. We had 4 or 5 last time.
5
And
everyone.
then, 3 in August.
Yep.
So, you know, we're 8 times in front of ministers. So, hey, that's good money spent, you know, so, you know, be right in their face, tell them what you want, so. No, anyway, yeah, so,
Yeah, well, what the conferences, I think, delegations, we seen that we made a positive impact with our ministers.
Yeah.
But as far as compensation review, I could see it more as for next term, because we all agreed that we were gonna freeze what we're doing for the rest of this term to just help our residents with the high tax increase.
Yeah.
So I'd say, yeah, leave it till next meeting and we can all make some notes on how we wanna if there's anything we want to tweak.
Yeah, and certainly if council has any suggestions, send them to the clerk or myself, and we can then compile a list and even bring them to council saying, here's kind of all the comments that were provided and see what council wants to keep in, what they want to keep out, what they want to change. But I think it's, if I'm looking at the policy and based on what we're doing, we need to make sure that this matches what's being done by council. That's all.
So, we need pressure to defer it, so. Anyway, so just, make sure you take time, and like I said, either email Shannon or the clerk. And, even if you want to say, let's talk about this,
Yep.
Yeah, operations, planning and building services, report 2025-007, severance B 141-24, Oval Road, County Road 21. Moved by Councillor Henry, seconded by Councillor Bone, be resolved that council recommend to the United Counties Leeds and Gravel Consent Granting Authority, the consent application B 141-1224 be approved, subject to 7 conditions of approval and detailed staff report 2025-007. Comments, questions?
Well, just a comment on this one. This one, we did defer it and the resident was at our planning meeting. And he agreed with all the conditions that are there. And but there was a neighbor that had objected, but the one barn that was part of the objection, it's not being used and it's below the square footage that would make empty out. So Melissa explained that all to us and the committee was okay with the severance as it stands now.
And does the planner have anything now? No?
No, your worship, the only thing I would note is the planning advisory committee also changed the staff had recommended that there's some drainage issues in the area. The public works manager has been in touch with the residents and the neighbor. I understand he's going to try to attend in the spring just to see if he can provide some guidance to try to address some of those issues. Staff had recommended a note on the decision, just to bring that flag, the drainage issues to the property owner's attention. Just in case there's new structures on the property that's resulting in greater water onto the property. But the committee preferred it to be done by a development agreement, register on title. It's a little more clear, so that change has been incorporated in the conditions before council tonight.
Comments, questions again? Yeah, call the questions? All in favor? There, thank you. Next, we have report 2025-025, severance B 2-25, County Road 18, moved by Councillor Bowman, second by Councillor Henry, be it resolved that council recommend to the United Counties of Leeds and Grenville Consent Granting Authority that consent application B 2-25 be approved, subject to 4 conditions of approval as detailed in staff report 2025-025. Comments, questions? Deputy Mayor, you want to?
No, this was straightforward. The committee had no.
Yeah, call the question. All in favor? Carried. Yeah. Next, we have report 2025-036 and moved by Deputy Mayor Winans, seconded by Councillor Pate. Be it resolved that council received the planner's report 2025-2026 for information. Anybody have any questions? Comments?
Good report.
No, good, okay. You want anything to add?
No, your worship, just to let council know what the activities were and the number of applications, we continue to remain busy, so I don't see that changing.
Good, no, good report. Okay, thank you very much. I'll call the question, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Protective services, then any notice of motions? So nothing. Okay, bylaw. Moved by Counselor Page, second by Deputy Mayor Wyman, to be resolved the bylaw number 3763-2025 being a bylaw to authorize civil marriage, solemnization services and issuance of marriage licenses in the township of Augusta be the first time, second time, and the third time being enacted as read. Any comments, questions? Okay, I'll call the question, all in favor? Moved by Deputy Mayor Wyman, second by Councilor Pate, be it resolved that bylaw number 3764-2025 being a bylaw to adopt and levy the 2025 tax rates and further provide for penalty and interest in default of payment in the township of Augusta be read the first time, the second time, and the third time be enacted as read. Does anybody have any comments, questions? Yes, Councilor Henry.
Your worship, I think it's a really great report. I think for some people or residents, they may have a hard time understanding it or reading it. Just in my opinion.
Yeah, and just to that, counties came out the same way. Yeah, no, well, that's what they do. It's almost not the same numbers, but almost identical. So just to let you know. Yeah,
Yeah, the one thing that certainly that we'll be working on and Will's worked on is we've got a tax insert that will be going in with all the tax bills, explaining the budget process and what came out of the budget process. The mayor is tomorrow morning going to be doing a mayor's message that will be talking about what Augusta is working on kind of in 2025, talking a little bit about the budget. And then we're also going to do a media release about the budget as well too. So there'll be a lot of different things that we'll be able to get out to our residents to educate and show them about what's involved in the budget. It's just not a number. These are the things that we're looking at accomplishing this year.
yeah, because I think it's important. We're going through some hard times, you know, not here, but in the world, you know, basically. So, you know, we gotta tell people what's going on and communicate to them. It might not be good news, but at least they need to know, so. Any other comments? Yeah, call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Hey, announcements. Yes. Amen.
Yeah, I'll probably see quite a few Friday night at our annual banquet, AGM for the Grenville Federation of Agriculture. That's social hours from 6 to 7, meal starts at 7. We're gonna have a silent auction and a live auction. And our speaker is a lady from Port of Johnstown. I think her name offhand.
Leslie Joanne.
Lindsay.
Leslie.
Leslie.
I know it was an L.
So, the other thing I had, I think we've already said it, is the mayor's breakfast registration. So sign up for that if you haven't. Does anybody? Yes.
I'm gonna give a mention of this. I saw it posted earlier today. Saturday, March 1st, at either 5 or 6:30, there's a spaghetti dinner in Prescott at the St. John's Anglican Church to raise money for those affected by the fire. So anybody that is able to or wants to go out, it's at the church. There's 2 sittings, 5 or 6:30 PM.
Anybody else? No? Okay. So, next we have questions on the agenda items for the press. I think we have any press on board. Questions on the agenda items for the public? Ladies, do you have anything? Questions? Okay, so nothing. So I'll move on. Moved by Councilor Page, seconded by Deputy Mayor Winans, be resolved that this council move into a closed session at 7:04 PM. To discuss matters pertaining to approval of closed session minutes, February 10th, 2025. One matter under section 239, brackets 2, brackets C, proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality, specifically purchased offer for the municipal land. And one matter under section 239, brackets 2, brackets B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, specifically staffing. So, call the question. All in favor? Carried. Yep.
Okay, Lindsay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moved by Counselor Page. And I gotta wait for you. With you,
You're good? No, you're good.
you on already?
Mhm.
Moved by Counselor Page, seconded by Deputy Mayor Wyman, to be resolved the council met at closed session to discuss proposed disposition of land and receive information from staff regarding staffing. Council provided instruction to staff. All in favor? There's. Excuse me. Moved by Deputy Mayor Wyman, seconded by Councilor Page, be resolved that bylaw number 3765-2025 confirms the proceedings of council of the township of Augusta at its meeting held on February 24, 2025, be read first time, second time, and a third time, and be enacted as read. All in favor? Carried. Kim? Goodness.
Might have missed an adjournment.
Yeah. Yes, which is March 10th. Moved by Councilor Bowman, seconded by Councilor Henry, be resolved the council be adjourned to March 10th, 2025 at such a 6 p.m. I'll call a question, all in favor? Here, thank you. That's it. Thank you. Oh, sorry so long, but we had a long meeting.
I just want to share something with everybody.
Just